Hi there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. Today I'm going to do a reading for Sagittarius energy. And like usual on this channel, we're going to do two rows. The top row I refer to as high vibe Sagittarius energy. The bottom row, a more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius. Because we all have free will and we have to make decisions in our life. The top row could represent what some people would like to do a little differently in their life, but the bottom row can just kind of represent our comfort zone, and we kind of like to stay in our comfort zone, and we like the things that we've been working on to work out the way we want, but there might be something about it that isn't working out. And so then we might want to do things a little differently, but these cards are kind of big. So then the bottom row can kind of represent our fears or our insecurities or our self-limiting beliefs about taking action in that new way. Some people are already moving forward. The bottom row could kind of represent what they left behind. And we live in a world of duality, so we have people probably in our life who align with our more high vibrational nature, loving, encouraging, and supportive, want us to believe in ourselves and believe in our dreams. But then we can have some people in our life who we kind of get along with and align with from our more shadowy nature, which can be fear, insecurity, codependency, lust, greed. People in our life who we could have love for, but they don't want us to kind of step out of living life the way they live life. So we're going to kind of talk about all that. Okay, let's go see. The reason for the bottom rose reading is the ship card, which is Aries energy, which can be where, again, Aries energy can be like, no, I can kind of control this. And I think I can make this work. And, you know, we can want things to work out the way we'd like them to work out, but we're working with other people and they have their free will, and we can't change other people. We can be loving and encouraging and supportive to other people, and we can try to get them to move forward with us and, move forward in a more high vibrational way. But in order to move forward in life, we have to go through the transformation process. And so this card, of course, reminds us of the death card in regular tarot, which is about putting an end to old ways of being. But it also is really great on this card. It says Leo, which is about illuminating the truth. The truth sets us free. And until we see the truth of some things that manipulate us, we're going to keep living our life the same way we've been living it. And we can be in relationships with people who maybe they do try to control things. Maybe they like it to be more about them. And, until they kind of see the truth, that hinders a relationship from moving forward in a more just or fair or different way, or they don't want to change, it kind of keeps us stuck also. So let's go look at the bottom row. We have despair, good news, past life, child, another child card, and the official person, which of course looks defensive to moving forward, and half truths. So if people live their life a certain way, they might be defensive to change, but they're willing to move forward in the way they've been moving forward, but it might not really be based on truth, love, justice, and fairness with the half truths card. Like, this is the way I want to move forward. Let's move forward like that. And we all, at different times, the despair card can mean that we've all been sad before, is what the Five of Cups can talk about. We thought our dreams, our ship of dreams, was going to come into reality. And these cards are also the reason why the readings came out. So we thought our ship of dreams was going to come into reality, and then something happened that made us sad. Well, then we go get in the next job, friendship, or relationship, and we could feel like that's good news. But if we haven't healed from that past situation, with the past life, we could be repeating an old pattern, because we'll keep repeating patterns because that is our way of living life and viewing life. And we'll, until we work through it and see the truth of it, to see where we needed to like heal and grow and mature ourselves, where other people in our life needed to heal and grow and mature themselves and work through that, and we're inspired to get to the truth and not repeat those same patterns, we'll keep repeating those same patterns. So, sometimes we can get, we kind of indulge in our more immature nature with the children here, or we keep having that hopeful believing spirit, but we get in relationships with other people who don't really have that hopeful believing spirit. Like, gee, I don't know why my ship of dreams don't come into reality. I try to offer love and encouragement to people who are sad and they keep being defensive to love, because the high vibro would be more about realizing it's supposed to be about love, and love is supposed to be just and fair, and that we have to work through these issues from our past to let those things, to make peace with them, so that they don't keep manipulating us and the decisions we make in our life. But the children card can also mean that sometimes people are just still in more codependent energy, like, I'm sad, I want to feel better, I'm going to look outside myself to the world for someone to love me, make me feel better. And it does, but it never really gets rid of the problem. We need to deal with those issues within ourselves. And shadowy energy can just be more codependent, which can be, I am defensive to the truth. I want to keep moving forward the way I've been doing it. If I am more immature, I don't want to see the truth of it. I want to keep moving forward being more immature. If I am more codependent, I don't want to see the truth of it. I'm going to keep moving forward the way I'm moving forward. If I'm someone who thinks people should, I can change people, because this card of the despair card being like the Five of Cups, the Fives talks about change. No, I'm a loving and encouraging person. I can change people. I am sure I can get them to work through those issues. So we can get in relationships with people who are more defensive, more prideful, more immature, more codependent, haven't worked through their issues of the past. And is offering love and encouragement to people kind of the best thing you can offer people? Yes, but we have to kind of get out of our ego. That's shadowy energy in general. That, just because we could be the children cards can mean that people are being like authentic and loving, and they could be motivated and inspired by love. But if they keep getting in relationships with people who haven't freed themselves from, to be more open to be loving, we're kind of getting in a more mismatched relationship. But in the half truths card, it's like we don't want to see the truth of it. And then we try to move forward with those people, and those people are like, hey, when you got in a relationship with me, you saw that I am this way or that way or bossy, or haven't worked through my issues, or I'm more immature, or I have these certain codependencies or whatever, or I'm full of myself or whatever. But you keep not wanting to see the truth. That's not my fault. Everybody can be mad at each other. People who are more motivated by love can be upset that those people aren't motivated by love. And those people are like, when you got in a relationship with me, you knew I was defensive, or you knew I was this, or you knew I was that. Well, it's not my fault you didn't want to see the truth. You were willing to get in a relationship with me. We should keep doing it like this. And the bottom row can just kind of represent people being in their defensive nature, kind of their egoic nature, kind of have their way of wanting to do things. But if you're really going to work together with others, you have your way, I have my way. Out of love for each other, are we willing to compromise? And sometimes we can be in relationships with people for a long time. We could have known some people since we were children, friends, family members, whoever. And maybe we did get in friendships or relationships. Maybe, we've all got lessons to learn. We've all been more codependent. We've all could have gotten in relationships to be loving and encouraging to each other through a period of time. And that can be a short time or a long time. But in any relationship, you can work through a lot of different issues. be kind of loving and encouraging and supportive of each other, but there can come a time where one person kind of really has done maybe some work within themselves, because the death card, the Leo card, can talk about they offered love. That can be the children card. They offered love to some of those issues in their past, and they kind of worked through their defensiveness to kind of loving and believing in themselves. And they kind of saw through the half truths that they could have told themselves or other people told them to kind of free themselves from it. And then they're kind of ready to move forward in life a little differently. And then some of the other people in their life maybe haven't worked through some of those. You could have worked through a lot of things together, but then it kind of gets to maybe in our Aries and Leo energy of ourself. And of course, Sagittarius is the third fire sign, and Aries and Leo are the other two. Kind of a little bit more of what, are we inspired to maybe be more authentically ourselves? Because that's high vibe Leo. To, I don't want to let my past, my fear, my ego, my codependency, my defensiveness keep kind of running my life. I want to free myself, because high vibe energy is about freeing yourself from those things that manipulate you to feel like you're being more authentically yourself when you present yourself in the world, feeling more confident within yourself. And Sagittarius in high vibes about learning lessons. Life is all about learning these lessons. Life is about going through the heartbreak, the grief, the different stages of life, and learning all these different lessons, and kind of seeing the truth of it, that I did go through all these different life experiences and I came in contact with all these different people to kind of help me get clear about what my truth is and my truth isn't. And what really motivates and inspires me, what motivates and inspires others. Am I someone in high vibe Sagittarius that kind of looks at life as an adventure to be lived? I'm curious. I want to keep learning more lessons. I want to see what manipulates me. I want to see how my ego or my fear manipulate me. And other people aren't motivated and inspired by that, because then you'd maybe have to detach, for one thing, like in the death card, from some old ways of being. You can't keep being in self-pity. Five of Cups could represent that. You'd actually work through it. But in order to work through it, it does take work and effort. And you have to get out of your defensiveness about these half truths you tell yourself. Oh, they never love me. Oh, everybody rejects me. Oh, nobody likes me. Really? Is that true? And that kind of reminds me of, you could Google her and see her on YouTube, but a lady, kind of a strange name for a lady, but her name is Byron, Byr. I don't know if it's AN or ON. What is it? Byron. Shoot, no, I can't remember what her middle name is, more like a female name. But she wrote a book. Um, I think it's called "Is That True?" Anyway, she goes around the world now. She went through a real challenging time in her life working through these kind of things, and kind of went to a place to get herself some help. And she kind of had, and Leo talks about this breakthrough of kind of seeing through all these things she told herself and how it kept her basically miserable. And so she had the four tenets kind of in her book of, is that true or not true, was that, yeah, you, with these things that you tell yourself that basically make you sad, is that true? And of course we'll all say yes, that's true, because otherwise I wouldn't think that. So the second question is, really, is it really true? Come on. you know we tell ourselves all these things. And so then the third one was, how does it make you feel to think that way? How differently would your life be if you didn't think that way? So much of our life is just what we think and what we believe is true. And the whole thing is, even if people were unjust, unfair, unkind, bossy, controlling, manipulative, we are the only people who let those people stop us from believing in ourselves and believing in our dreams. Or we could see the truth that those people were bossy, controlling, hurtful, unkind, immature, controlling, manipulative. And I just see the truth of it. And I don't choose to be around people like that. And I'm not going to let those people stop me from believing in my dreams. I'm just going to stop moving forward in relationship with people who are like that. If people show me that they have unresolved issues from their past and they think the answer though is to kind of stay in denial of the truth, keep repeating certain patterns, hoping to find other people that haven't worked through their issues or are more codependent, try to control them and manipulate them because that's shadowy Leo energy. High vibe Leo is you're being authentic and honest and loving and warm and encouraging to yourself and others, or you present yourself as being that type of person, but really you're trying to manipulate and control people by presenting yourself in the half truths as being more just, fair, balanced, authentic, and loving than you really are. And you're really more about your own self interest because the ship card saying Aries is about the self. So we've either grown and matured ourselves to be more just, fair, balanced, and loving, or we just try to present the illusion of it so people will think we're that type of person and move forward with us in a relationship. And some of you, like me, you went through your life experiences, you went through disappointment, you went through being more codependent, you had your patterns, you repeated some of those patterns, you did it enough times and had enough experience with it, and maybe kind of got in these more mismatched relationships. And some people wear a really good false mask. You know, it really seems like sometimes you feel like you met the person that really kind of views life the kind of way you do. But then as you go through the relationship, you realize that they are at the core foundation of themselves. It's not really love more that drives and motivates them. It can be how it more benefits them in their lust or their greed or their pride or their ego or their status or their image. But they're not really being more authentic and loving. And so even though you might have wanted a dream to come into reality with some people, and for some people, if it was a job, you just took a job where people presented themselves like, again, there are these more just fair people, and then you took the job and you found out some of the people were quite more immature and stubborn and bossy and controlling, and it's like, I'm leaving, you know? So somewhere along the road, you kind of got out of thinking you could change people. All I can do is offer people truth and love and encouragement. They have the free will to work through their issues, to transform their life and deal with the truth and learn to love and believe in themselves or not. And if I keep seeing they're like defensive to that, or they could be distrustful of people if they're very distrustful of people and haven't worked through issues in their life that make them distrustful of others, you could kind of see that that more influences them than being inspired to listen more to their intuition. I was like, well, until you work through that, I wish you peace, but I can't. Until you're willing to deal with the truth, accept the truth, speak the truth, illuminate the truth, get out of your codependent energy and people in your life that might manipulate you or your fear or the past or your ego, I wish you peace. So up here we have surprise visitor and the birds, which is Sagittarius energy, the rider, the devil, the thoughts, the mountain, and the disconnection card. So we can always move away from people. That's like step one. And that with the surprise visitor could be that emotionally that you just feel I am ready to go do this. And you go do it. But um, Scorpio energy, this card up here in the disconnection card also kind of reminds me of Scorpio energy. We can move away from certain people and things, and certain people and things can move away from us. But it takes time to kind of work through these issues to really emotionally disconnect from people. And then when we have really kind of done that work within ourselves to emotionally work through the fact that I'm ready to move forward in life differently, I've done that emotional work within myself. Now I'm ready to have that new beginning. You could have surprised yourself, you could have surprised other people. That you were inspired to, the rider is Aquarius energy, to look at life from a higher perspective, put things in perspective, weren't going to stay up in a mental prison. You were going to work through the devil, work through those things that manipulate you. Only you hold the key. You could have thought at one time other people held the key to your ship of dreams or freeing you from things, but during the course of it, you realize you're the only one who holds the key to freeing yourself from things that manipulate you. And if you don't, there's always going to be other people in the world willing to be in a relationship with you, so long as you let those things manipulate you, because they have their own things that manipulate them. And you weren't going to let the devil can kind of represent the world also, and your ego nature and your fear and your insecurity and your lust and your greed and all those things. I'm going to put life in perspective. I don't want all those worldly things or my more worldly, egoic, immature, self-indulgent nature to keep manipulating me. And then I view the thoughts card, because it has a man on it, as the King of Swords, that I'm going to get to the truth. The truth will set me free. No more half truths, no more illusions. And also, the kings can represent how you're taking action in the world, how you're standing up for yourself, and going to stand up for yourself and stand up for your truth. And you could have had to put into perspective that you had been moving forward with some people that kind of harness this energy in a shadowy way. They wanted you to move forward in that energy with them. But again, it can be kind of controlling. The devil can talk about where people try to limit you, restrict you, oppress you, confine you. I don't want you to really love and believe in yourself and believe in your dreams, because then you'll want me to do this work within myself to move forward with you in that way. Do I want to be in a relationship with you? Yes. Is it, do I, but the devil, can there be love there? Yeah. But the devil in typical tarot, like a Rider Waite deck, looks just like the Lover's card, but instead of an angel, hope and faith and belief and love, there's the devil there, and the people have chains and shackles on them. It's more of, I want to control you, I want to manipulate you, this is good for my ego and image, I want to be in a relationship with you, indulge in a relationship with you, I'm codependent on you, want you to be codependent on me, let's just move forward and be inspired that it looks victorious and successful in the star Aquarius energy, that it looks like we have what other people have in the world. Isn't that good enough? It looks good by worldly standards. And with the devil, it could have all these things of the world that we as human beings could want. It has stability and security and things like that. But you kind of realize the truth was they turned their back on high vibe Capricorn and Scorpio energy. Shadowy Scorpio energy can be kind of intimidating and controlling or narcissistic, or just kind of like to keep their more emotional nature buried beneath the surface, and they're kind of more superficial. So they like to use their emotions and their sexuality and their words and their money and status or image, all of those things kind of in a more devilish, manipulative way to get people to get in relationship with them and stay in relationship with them and hope people will think, isn't this good? But it's not really, in high vibe Scorpio, a deep, meaningful relationship because they have this way of viewing life and a way of wanting to maybe live life that for them, they're fine with, makes them feel balanced and stable. They maybe, I view the mountain card, it does say Capricorn on it, which the devil is also Capricorn energy. We all have things within us and our more worldly nature that tempts us to kind of, we're inspired by these things of the world. We want these certain things and we have these certain dreams and, you know, we're kind of we really can be inspired in our fire sign energy by those things of the world. And in the King of Swords, it does seem to make logical, practical sense, but there's something kind of shadowy about it. And maybe where we feel like we can't really live our more authentic life because some of the people that we're in relationship with don't really live their more authentic life. And shadowy energy can be where, it is trying to create this illusion in the world and how wonderful your life is and how victorious and successful it is and how loving it is. But for some of them, it's more driven by the ego and trying to maintain this illusion, living more from their mind and their heart. And it's not really authentically motivated and inspired by love. And if they don't want to disconnect from that way of living life, and you did some work within yourself, the mountain card again reminds me of Capricorn, where you kind of free yourself and see how it is kind of a little distorted or a little controlling or manipulative. And you kind of free yourself from things that kind of made you view life that way. And that takes work and effort. I also view this card as Virgo energy, and Capricorn and Virgo in earth sign energy talk about having to put work and effort to free yourself from those things that kind of make you live your life like that, where it is kind of either mismatched or more about these things than truth and love and justice and fairness. And high vibe Virgo, like high vibe Leo, is about seeing the truth. And if you are more motivated and inspired to work together with people, being loving and authentic and encouraging and supportive to work through these issues, but they turn their back on putting in that work and effort to free themselves from things that manipulate them, well, then, how you want to move forward and what your truth is different. What motivates and inspires you at kind of a core foundational level is different. And you want to be in relationships with people who are inspired to face their fears, is what the devil can talk about, who are willing to be just and fair in a relationship and see how they can be more codependent or bossy or controlling or think it should be more about them, kind of being indulged, where it's just a little bit more about them for some reason, and who are willing to see the truth of it and stand up and defend. We have been illuminated to the truth that it's more about growing, maturing, healing ourselves, freeing ourselves from things that manipulate us. High vibe energy, and like high vibe Virgo, is about being more independent. And you have to get balanced. The King of Swords, Libra energy, talks about balance. You have to get balance within yourself. You have to see how these different things in the world and your ego and your immature nature and your codependent nature and other people in your life manipulate you. And you have to say, I want to be balanced and I want things to, would I like things to work out with people? Yes, but you have to respect me as I have my truth, just like you have your truth, and I don't try to manipulate and control you and try to get you to live your life the way you live, the way I live my life. Quit trying to control me and make me live my life the way you live it. Do we move forward in truth and love, being loving and encouraging of each other to live our authentic life, which can be different from other people and some other, just because there's some people in the world that are always going to be more superficial and shallow, never really more authentically themselves in the world. And they can definitely not like it when friends or family kind of seem to be freeing themselves of some of the same things that could have manipulated them if they grew up in the same family. One person or more are still manipulated about seeing the truth about how they let the past manipulate them, and other people work through it. But then it can feel like, they do view life differently, and one person, they could kind of feel like the other people do see that they're kind of manipulative or controlling, or the poor pitiful me, or something, or bossy and controlling. And and so those people will try to, just like people try to stop you. Some of the people you're in relationship with have people in their life who harness this energy in a shadowy way, who try to stop them from loving and believing in themselves. Because it would bother me if you free yourself from things that manipulate you when I'm living my life still like this and I still don't want to see the truth. Or I don't want you to see how I do try to manipulate and control you, and I'm going to keep trying to manipulate and control you, so you don't see the truth of me. And I'll maybe use the love that you have for me to try to manipulate you and make you not align with your more hopeful, believing, loving nature, or the people in your life who encourage you to love and believe in yourself. No, 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 you should stay here. No, 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 let's do this. And you could have known some people that their own more shadowy, worldly, codependent nature kind of manipulates them. And then they could have other people in their life who kind of live their life that way and encourage them to live their life that way too. And the people in your life who you know and have seen are like that, you put in the work and effort to see the truth and move on. And as you move forward in your life, there's always going to be more shadowy people in the world. You're always going to go in the world, and there's going to be more people who are trying to present themselves as more high vibrational, that really like to, are more immature, are more controlling, are more about themselves, are more egotistical and full of themselves, or whatever. And as you move forward, some of those people are going to see you. You'll see them, in your community, in your workplace. I think you will offer truth and love to people, and some of those people will be in that devil card, like, your truth is different than my truth. And they could try to kind of use your loving nature, because people who are just and fair and loving want other people to work together with them in a just and fair and loving way. And they're hoping if they kind of don't act that way with you, it'll kind of bring up your wounds, like, why isn't this person working with me in a just and fair way? I don't understand. And then loving people can try to put a lot of work and effort to try to make something that's kind of imbalanced balanced. Well, some people have learned I'm not doing that anymore. I'm just going to deal with the truth. I meet people, people choose to act in these kind of shadowy ways. I see the truth of it. Oh, okay. Well, you're kind of acting this way. Can it bother me? Because, yeah, I'd like to move forward and we work together in a more just, fair, and balanced way. But I'm not going to get my shadow energy about it. I wish you peace. Thank you for showing me the truth of who you are. And I'm moving on and kind of emotionally distancing myself, because I see that you haven't got some issues to deal with, and you haven't learned how to work with people in a more just and fair and balanced and cooperative, more mature, like high vibe. High vibe Capricorn and Virgo would be that you've learned more lessons in life about how to work with people more cooperatively. And it's just seeing the truth of it. It's like, okay, I see the truth of it. Yeah, note taken. And I'm going to focus more of my time and attention on people who do work in a more mature, just, fair, balanced way. And then the devil has to go find someone else, and the people who also align with that philosophy of life in a way are going to have to go find someone else, because you freed yourself from getting in your ego when people don't work together with you in a just and fair way. There was even some of you were moving forward in a hopeful, believing nature, and you had some shadowy people who didn't like that, because shadowy energy, at the big picture represented by the devil, is trying to stop people from giving birth to something new. And that's what the death card talks about: shedding an old way of being and living life and viewing life, transforming your life, giving birth to a new you. And like with my nesting dolls over there, we did that when we quit being like a 15-year-old and we decided, nope, I'm going to be more like an 18-year-old. I'm going to shed those more 15-year-old ways of being, and I'm going to give birth to a new me. And then we did it when we became 21, and then we did it when we became 25. And it's a process that we're kind of meant to go through as a process of life. We don't have to keep doing it if we don't want to, and some people don't want to. And sometimes some shadowy people think this person loves and believes in themselves. We don't like that they kind of love and believe in themselves. Let's be hurtful and unkind to try to put an end to them loving and believing in themselves. Maybe put them down in shadowy energy and confuse them by how we're acting in this shadowy, bossy, controlling, hurtful, unkind way. Maybe we can get them to put an end to their loving and believing in themselves and go in, kind of drive your life off into the ditch. And then they want to step in and present themselves as, see, we're the more enlightened, just, fair, authentic, loving people. It's like the devil trying to steal people's lives and other shadowy people. I'm going to be hurtful and unkind. I might have been in a friendship or relationship with you. Seemed like our dreams were going to come into reality. But because I don't like that you are continuing to heal and grow and mature yourself, and you don't want to do life the way I do it, and you want me to put in this work and effort to deal with the truth, I don't want to see the truth. How dare you? You should want to be in the relationship with me because it looks just and fair, or because I'm full of myself. I'm going to do these hurtful and unkind things, hoping to drive your life off into the ditch. And then I'll move forward with someone else and look like I'm the just and fair person. Well, for some people, that didn't work out because you didn't let shadowy people drive your life off into the ditch. You were inspired to get to the truth, and you looked at life from a higher perspective. And it's kind of like you went right over those people, not letting them, those cards and the mountain card can be like a roadblock. And that's kind of where Capricorn and Virgo energy and high vibe. I'm not going to let people and situations be a roadblock in my life. They can sit there and do that for as long as they want, but I don't have to engage in it. I can emotionally let them do whatever the hell they want, act the way they want. I believe the truth will be revealed eventually of who's who. I'm going to keep on my path, and I'm not going to emotionally engage in it. I'm going to emotionally disconnect from those people, and I'm going to keep putting in the work and effort. I didn't give up on my dreams. I just gave up on some of those people. And I was illuminated to the truth about some of those people. And now I'm free and independent of those people. And I've emotionally detached from those people. And those people, their plan didn't work. So now they got to go try to steal from someone else or manipulate someone else and control someone else and intimidate someone else and try to build their sense of ego or looking victorious and successful by making it in comparison to other people. And other people are like, I'm not trying to build my ego or my status or my image off of other people or like I'm better than them in a way. I'm just going to live my authentic truth and they can live their truth. And as you're moving forward in your life, the devil can also mean that, you could be attracted to people. And the devil can also mean um, you could challenge other people's kind of belief systems. Other people can challenge your belief systems. And if we get in relationships with people who kind of inspire us to look at life differently, it does challenge kind of our truth and how we viewed life. And if we can get in relationships with some people who encourage us to face our fears and encourage us to love and believe in ourselves, and they are loving and encouraging and supportive, those are people then we move forward with. And as you have detached from some of these other people, you know, then you move forward in different jobs, friendships, and relationships, and you come into like a new environment and you're like the new energy coming in. And again, you're kind of in high vibe Sagittarius and took your Aries energy with you to go have this new beginning, being inspired to believe in yourself, believe in your dreams. And some of those people in that environment are like, ooh. And others of them are like, huh, you know. I mean, say you get a job, there's going to be some people at the job who are like, um, maybe they are a little manipulative or shadowy, but they try to look more high vibe. They won't like your energy coming in. But it there might be other people in the workplace who've kind of had to deal with that person, but they really want to move forward in life differently. They've maybe been trying to encourage that person to put in work and effort, and that person isn't. And then you come along and they're like, maybe this is a person I could work with. I thought it was going to be this person, but maybe it would be that person. So, lots of different scenarios there as you're moving forward in your life. I just think if as you're moving forward, you could have some people come into your life, and then, that might make you kind of rethink how you thought things were going to go. You kind of had a plan. That's kind of Capricorn and Taurus energy. And then some people come into your life and then, you could be attracted to them. And then you will, you people can take action and the king can talk about taking action, male or female, to get to know people, to kind of figure out what you think about them, for them to think about what they think about you. And if you think you're on the same page, then together you might move forward. And because some of you detached from some people who weren't willing to be more authentic, more independent, work through some of their issues, some of those people could be sad that they made that free will choice to not put in this work and effort. We've all got free will in a relationship to put in that work and effort or not put in that work and effort. And sometimes we can have people where things didn't work out. We kind of went our separate ways. And then while one person moves forward, then someone could surprise them saying they do want, and you would see if you think they're telling the truth. Did you really heal from these things? Did you really get out of your more codependent or immature or repeating certain patterns of the past? And if you think they did, just like you might do that with people, and when anybody learns some lessons in life, high vibe people get out of their ego and they're willing to admit, I didn't even see it at the time. I was immature. I was repeating some poor past patterns. Maybe I hadn't learned to love myself and I was a more codependent energy, blah, blah. They get out of their ego. And so that's what, if you have surprised some people by how you're moving forward in life, if you have communicated with some people in the world, or you're just kind of moving forward in life differently, people you communicate could be like, well, I don't know if I would want to get back into being in any type of friendship with you or not. um Other people could just see you moving forward differently, and it's like, that person is moving forward differently than they were before, and I find that more attractive than when they were in this other energy. And same way you could do that. So, with this also being the reason of the death card, sometimes some people, what they wanted to move forward with didn't work out the way they wanted. And so then they come up here trying to get someone else to kind of tempt them in their worldly nature to indulge them, but they're still in more shadowy energy. And so you will listen to your intuition about that. If you had something that didn't work out the way you wanted and you're moving forward in life differently, people are going to wonder, have you really kind of transformed your life and healed and grown and matured yourself, or have you not? And high vibe people are going to listen more to their intuition. And some people could be tempted, but while other people were doing whatever they were doing, you and or other people, I've already moved on, and I might not even view that anymore as anything. Now I could view it as toxic. I don't even know how I was ever attracted to living my life that way, or some of those people. It's like with tarot and life, every day of our life, there's like the spectrum of the different things we could do in our life and the different choices we could make. They're all potential possibilities. And we have to choose what action we're going to take, what our truth is, what we're going to kind of, you know, indulge in, what we're not going to indulge in. The things of the world are meant to be enjoyed, but they're meant to be enjoyed in balance and moderation. And some people haven't learned that lesson. So, anyway, regardless of who, high vibe people are moving forward regardless. When they come across toxic people or people they're attracted to, they get to know them to try to figure out the truth of what the truth is. And the people in their life who seem to be on the same page as them are people they're going to keep moving forward with. The people who they see aren't, they're going to keep moving away from. And they're going to keep investing their time, energy, and effort. And sometimes some people can want, they could view someone else as like, I would like to move forward with you. And that person's like, sorry, I've already moved on with someone else. Like, damn. Well, then people have the free will choice. Do I go back and repeat an old pattern? Or do I keep believing? Because our dreams aren't codependent on a certain person. Do I keep believing in myself and believing in my dreams? And maybe some people are just a good role model in our life for what we're looking for. And other people, if something doesn't work out, they go back and repeat some poor past patterns. And then, we repeated an old cycle and it didn't really work out the way we wanted. And then we got to do that work again to, you know, some people keep rolling the ball uphill. Slowly, one step forward, two steps forward, one step back, and keep rolling the ball of life forward. I am not going to go back and repeat some of these poor past patterns because that brings me a bad harvest. If I want what I want, I need to keep walking the talk. So, what's coming up for people who harness some high vibe Sagittarius energy that they might not see coming? The Two of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Six of Cups. So the Six of Cups is Scorpio energy. Also, the Five of Cups is Scorpio energy. Out of love for yourself and wanting to feel at a place of peace and balance within yourself, within your own Libra energy and your own emotional Scorpio energy, you were inspired to come to a place of peace, to get balance within yourself about a situation, to not stay out of balance or going back and forth. And because you were motivated and inspired in your Sagittarius energy to do that, you listened to your intuition. And that got you the Ten of Pentacles, which is Virgo energy, which is also about seeing the truth. You listened to your intuition and you did this inner work, because that's what High Vibe Virgo talks about. Doing the inner work within yourself to deal with your own issues, listening to your intuition about other people in your life, about kind of what really kind of drives and motivates them, um, issues that they might have that they might not want to deal with. And you've come to a place of peace about it because you offered like truth and love to it. I accept that there's some people in my life that I would like to be in a relationship with, but those people are in denial of the truth that it's supposed to be about truth and love. That's High Vibe Virgo. They're still kind of either in denial of the truth about issues from their past or their friend group or their family or the world, and they don't want to see how it manipulates them. I've come to a place of peace about it. And I've seen the truth about it, and I'm listening to my intuition. And until any of those people do, or they're more immature or more bossy or more think it should be more about them, until they see the truth of it, I wish you peace. They might have to go out in the world and uh, get to know some other people and find out, are either find other people who live their life like that or indulge them in that way of being, or see that other people don't like it either. And maybe they need to grow up and mature themselves. But you are very stable and grounded within yourself because of having done this work and having learned these lessons about yourself and others. And it's also intuitive that you've closed out a cycle. The tens can be about completing a cycle, and then you're ready to have that new, like Page of Pentacles or Ace of Pentacles, new beginning. Because you learned the lesson you were meant to learn from a phase of life, and you're ready emotionally to move forward in life differently. And then as you are moving forward in that new way, probably more balanced within yourself, maybe before you weren't listening as much to your intuition. And I think our intuition was given to us as a gift to help us navigate in the world, because there are people who wear false masks and aren't who they say they are. And now you've learned to listen more to your intuition. When you were younger and your intuition was like, you shouldn't be doing this. This isn't a good idea. This isn't going to turn out the way you think. You should go home now, but you did it anyway. Well, pride comes before the fall. And, we do it enough times where it's like, I'm done doing that. I'm going to start listening to my intuition. And if my intuition tells me, don't do that, don't trust these people, this isn't going to turn out the way you think, now you listen to your intuition. And you reconcile the fact that there might be some people I'd maybe like to be in a relationship with or indulge some. I'm just going to get myself back in a situation. If their truth isn't the same as my truth, why would I, again, Scorpio, 3 cards right here, Scorpio, we're emotionally complex human beings. Why get ourselves tangled up in something where people are repeating these patterns or people are defensive to truth and love or growing up or maturing themselves? No, thank you. I will save myself the trouble, and I will focus on putting work and effort into my friends, my family, the dreams, my job, my career, the people in my life who do work together with me in a just and fair and authentic and loving way. And I think there's other people who see that truth about you. And, the other people who know they could repeat some of these old patterns, or they could put this work and effort to be in a very authentic, mature, insightful, loving relationship will choose to be friends with you and in relationship with you. And some people won't because that's not their truth. They'd have to put in work and effort to emotionally detach from repeating an old pattern and thinking it's just and fair. Like, oh, there's just someone who's sad. I'll go get in a relationship with them. Just kind of be immature and indulge myself. Or, oh, there's someone who I think I can make it more about me. Or someone I can be bossy and controlling with. You know? Another, who wants to be in a relationship with someone who thinks that way anyway. But some people might have people who kind of they could have love for, but those people kind of keep going back and forth. And eventually it's like, I'm done. And I've offered truth and love enough to try to move this forward. Apparently, that's not your truth. I'm done. And then, you end up on the same page as some other people. And then you could run into each other out in the world somehow. Okay, what's coming up for people who harness a more worldly, shadowy Sagittarius energy that they might not see coming, which can be chasing after people? Like, oh, I thought my dream was going to come into reality with you, and you're not in a relationship with me. I'm going to, instead of putting work and effort to emotionally detach, no, I'm going to keep chasing after this person. I'm going to try to get them to work through their issues. It's like, okay. Or just someone who is kind of more immature, looking for other people who are more immature or more full of themselves. What's coming up for them? That they don't see coming. The Four of Pentacles. Why? Because of the Queen of Wands. Well, they have the free will to work through these things and move forward in their life. But in the Four of Pentacles, they have this way of living life or viewing life that they're not ready to let go of. So again, we'll keep repeating a pattern over and over and over until we are kind of willing to accept the truth that I need to let something go. The reason is because of the Queen of Wands. So the Queen of Wands is also, like on this card, it says Leo. I view as Leo energy. Maybe just not willing to be more authentically themselves. So the Four of Pentacles is like, no, I'm not willing to open up more or do this work to be more authentically myself in the world. I might operate a little more from my defensive nature, my egoic nature, my self-protective nature. I might be more motivated. There might be someone who still kind of has them in their ego, and they're going it can be again kind of looking to someone as like that would be my dream relationship, but they don't want to see the truth of how it's kind of shadowy. And for some of those people aren't even in a relationship with them, but they'll hold on defensive to kind of having hope and faith and belief in their dreams to just move forward in their life and let those people have their free will. Put in work and effort to get more balance within yourself. Put in work and effort to work through your issues. But for some people, they could just also be more about the world and ego and image and money and materialism. If they get in relationships with people who are more loving and nurturing and just and fair, well, those people want them to be more loving and authentic and just and fair. It's like, I want to move forward in relationships with people, but maybe where I don't really have to be just and fair, where I can operate more from my ego nature. And maybe I'll just go find someone who seems to be sad that something didn't work out, and maybe try to appeal to maybe their codependent nature. Well, you want to be in a relationship. Don't you want your dreams to come into reality? I am the person your dreams can come into reality with. But they're kind of telling half truths in the fact that Can I be kind of like a loving, encouraging person in a relationship with you? Yes, but I operate from my ego. And so maybe I don't, you won't have a more deep, meaningful relationship with me. Or, oh, by the way, instead of being more authentic and loving, I kind of try to manipulate and control people in a relationship. But you might not know that till later. Some other people already knew that and found that out, and those people left. So now I'm going to go try it with someone else. And maybe you don't know the truth about me. Maybe you do know me or did know me at one time, and you still view me as a more high vibrational person than I really am. Maybe you never really got to know the real me. So, but the shadowy people are going to hold back from being more authentic, being more bold and brave and confident, illuminating the truth, and probably take action more out of pride and ego. And because they do that and they keep doing that, there's going to be other people in their life who in turn are going to hold back from them because they're harnessing a shadowy Capricorn, Leo, Aries, and whatever else. Um, and other people are harnessing it in a more high vibe way. And because they kind of keep holding back from maybe listening to their intuition about people in their life who are trying to offer them love and encouragement, to deal with the truth, maybe get more balance within themselves, heal. And they're like, no, 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 I want to keep doing this. Well, they're going to have some people in their life who are going to hold back from them, who are now willing to deal with the truth, illuminated to the truth. I see you keep doing this over and over and over, and you keep not doing that. And that's when people are like, I'm done. And from the Four of Pentacles to the Ten of Pentacles is taking back the Six of Pentacles. There was people I used to exchange time, energy, effort, and resources with that I wanted to be friendship and relationship with. Not anymore, and I'm not going to keep exchanging time, energy, effort, or resources with them anymore because I've been illuminated to the truth that they don't want to be more authentic. They don't want to open up. They aren't inspired to live their life differently. They don't want to heal. They have a way of living life that could make them happy, but it doesn't make me happy to live my life like that. And everybody has the free will to live their life whatever way they want. So I wish them peace, and I'm moving on. And I'm going to go find some people who challenge me in my belief system, who I think are more just and fair and face my fears to believe in myself, and I'm going to keep moving forward. And the other people will be sad that some more people moved away, but they just have these ways of being that they don't want to let go of. They're sure that'll make them happy in the long run. It'll work out the way they want. So there you go, Sagittarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.